Every lesson is a lyric in the universal song. Oh, the lessons of the journey, I'll weave them in my song.
Welcome back to Lessons of the Journey. I'm Coach Jen, here with Coach Nicole, and today we're diving into something that so many women carry quietly in the background of their lives. We are calling it the good girl script. It's the script that whispers, be polite, don't rock the boat, don't ask for too much, keep the peace. For years, and maybe even decades, it may have earned approval or kept us safe. But in midlife, that script often feels less like guidance and more like a cage. And while this conversation is centered on women, I want to pause here to speak directly to the men listening. Stay with us, because the women you love, your partners, daughters, colleagues, friends, may be carrying this script too. Understanding it can help you see them more clearly, support them more fully, and create space for them to show up as their authentic selves. Today, we'll explore where the script comes from, how it shows up in people-pleasing and self-silencing, what science says about why it's so sticky, and most importantly, how to rewrite it. So grab your journal if you have one, or simply keep your heart open today. We will be inviting you to pause and reflect throughout today's conversation, because this isn't just about breaking free. It's about rewriting the story altogether.
The good girl script isn't written down anywhere, but most of us know the lines by heart. They live in the background of our childhood, school years, workplaces, and relationships. Don't be too loud, but also don't be too quiet or people will think you're weak. Always be kind, but also don't be a pushover or people won't respect you. Put others first, but also don't lose yourself or you'll be seen as needy. Look put together, but also don't try too hard or you'll come off as vain. Work hard, but also don't be so ambitious or you'll intimidate people. Be agreeable, but also don't be a doormat or no one will take you seriously. Be confident, but also don't be arrogant or you'll be too much. The message is subtle but constant. Your value comes from keeping others comfortable, not from being fully yourself. For many of us, this script began early. Maybe you were praised for being the quiet child who didn't cause trouble, the helper who always cleaned up, the peacemaker who smoothed over fights. You might even remember being called a good girl with a smile, while your brother or a boy in class was celebrated for being bold, outspoken, or adventurous.
Oh, this is hitting hard. I'm raising boys. I'm the only woman in my house. And I'm like, yeah, all the things. Oh my gosh. I'm really loving this episode. There is a science connection. The Asch conformity experiments, 1950s. So psychologist Solomon Asch ran a simple study. He showed participants a line and asked them to pick which of the three comparison lines matched it in length. It was an easy question, until the group around them, secretly in on the experiment, gave all the wrong answers. Faced with unanimous pressure, about 75% of people conformed at least one time, knowingly agreeing with something they could see was absolutely false. Why did they do this? Because the pull of acceptance is that strong. And if we'll deny our own eyes to fit in, imagine what we'll do when belonging, love, or approval are at stake. This is the power of the good girl script. From the very beginning, many of us were rewarded for being agreeable, helpful, and compliant. I know I was. We became fluent in reading the room, sensing other people's moods, and adjusting ourselves to meet their expectations. That adaptation kept us safe. It kept us liked, but it also trained us to shrink. Here's the truth. That wasn't weakness. It was survival. But what helped us survive in childhood doesn't always help us thrive in adulthood.
So true. I agree with you. This hits home hard. Even though I feel like I was raised in an environment where women were important. I was given a female dentist and a female doctor by my dads because they wanted me to see that women are successful as well. That being said, I still felt so much of this.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go into reflection pause number 1. So before we go further, I want to make this personal for you. I want to invite you to take a moment and reflect. If you're able, pause the recording right here and grab a journal, or just sit with these questions for a moment and ponder. Think back to your earliest memory of being praised for being good. Was it when you sat quietly in class? When you shared your toy instead of keeping it? When you held back tears to avoid being called dramatic? Who praised you? How did that moment shape the way you saw yourself? Pause and reflect on this.
Wow. I thought of something for every one of those questions. Whew. Okay. On the surface, people-pleasing looks generous. You show up, you help, you accommodate, you make things easier for everyone else. It can even feel noble, like you're the glue holding these things together. But underneath, people-pleasing often hides something else. It's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being seen as unworthy. Ugh. When you grow up following the good girl script, saying yes feels safer than saying no. Here's another science connection. It's the Milgram obedience study from the 1960s. They've been looking at this for a long time, y'all. Stanley Milgram wanted to understand why ordinary people followed destructive orders. In his now famous experiment, participants were told to deliver what they thought were painful shocks to strangers, simply because an authority figure told them to. Most people complied, even when they were visibly distressed. Why? Because disobedience felt scarier than causing harm. Now, most of us aren't in a psychology lab. We're not shocking strangers, but many of us are shocking ourselves. We're ignoring our exhaustion. We're silencing our truth and suppressing our needs just to avoid rocking the boat.
Yeah, this one scares me. I've heard the actual videos of the people. It's insane. People will shock someone because they don't want to not do what they're told.
Yeah.
Conformity is such a thing. I think this all gears to the connection and how community is so important to us. It's crazy. The modern connection, Flett et al., 2009. Research shows that chronic people pleasing isn't harmless. It's actually linked with higher rates of anxiety, depression, and burnout. In other words, every yes that comes from fear is actually a no to yourself. Over time, that adds up to resentment, depletion, and even physical stress symptoms like headaches, sleep problems, or immune system breakdown. Gee, does that sound like the society we're currently living in a lot of ways?
Does that sound like every woman and mother you know in their 40s and 50s?
Seriously. Yes. Think about the woman who agrees to chair the PTA committee even though her plate is already full. Or the employee who stays late every night because she doesn't want to seem difficult. Outwardly, they look committed. Inwardly, they may be drained, running on empty because their boundaries have been swallowed by obligation. And here's the paradox. People pleasing doesn't always make people like you more. Can I say that one more time?
Yeah.
For those in the back, people pleasing doesn't always make people like you more. That sounds wrong. It's not wrong. In fact, it can make relationships more fragile because others sense the lack of authenticity. You're giving them a version of yourself that's not the real you, and they can feel it.
It also makes people more disappointed in you when you finally do learn a boundary and say no, but you've always said yes. You're setting an unrealistic expectation for yourself. All right, we're going to reflect again. Let's slow down here. Again, if you can pause the recording and take a few minutes with these questions, please go ahead. Think about the last time you said yes when your whole body wanted to say no. What did that yes cost you? In energy, in time, joy, or even self-respect? Now, imagine you had said no. What is the worst thing that might have happened? And what's the best? Write down whatever comes up. If you don't have a journal nearby, even noticing the answers in your mind is a step toward reclaiming your power. Once you've reflected, here's a practical tool to help you start saying no without guilt and honoring your needs. Number one is pause before responding. Instead of saying yes automatically, use the phrase, "Let me think about that." This interrupts the automatic people-pleasing reflex and gives you space to assess your energy, priorities, and true willingness. Ask yourself, do I actually want this? Do I have the bandwidth? Will saying yes honor my well-being? That tiny pause can be the difference between another draining obligation and a boundary that respects your limits. Over time, practicing this pause strengthens your internal voice, making it easier to act from choice rather than fear. Number two, state your boundary clearly. Once you've paused and assessed, speak your truth calmly and confidently. Here's an example. I'm unable to take that on right now, but I appreciate you thinking of me. Notice how neutral, firm, and respectful this is. It doesn't require over-apologizing, over-explaining, or justifying yourself. Stating your boundary clearly sets expectations for others while keeping your integrity intact. Boundaries are not about rejection. They're about creating space for what matters most. And we have a boundaries episode. If you go back and listen to that, one of these two brilliant coaches said, boundaries are not meant to keep people out. They're really intended to keep the right people in.
Love that. I think it was you.
Oh, see, I was going to give it to you. I don't remember.
No, I think you said it, but I think someone else said it to you. We find our information everywhere.
You're right. You're right. Okay. Number 3, own your decision. After you say no, take a moment to acknowledge that your decision is valid. Saying no doesn't make you selfish or unkind. It makes you self-aware and responsible for your well-being. Reflect internally. I honored my needs, and I'm still a good person. I am allowed to prioritize myself without guilt. Owning your decisions reinforces self-trust and gradually rewires that good girl script, making it easier to live authentically.
Yeah, I would add to that. I've always had that rule of threes. If it's a small thing, I give myself 3 minutes to think about it. It's usually on a phone call. Somebody says, hey, can you do X? I'll call you back in 3 minutes. If it's a medium thing, give me 3 hours. And if it's a big thing, give me 3 days. Yeah. Often the things are gone by the time I say yes. That helps too if you're overdoing it. Yeah, that's such good advice. Why is it that we feel like when we speak with authority and kindness, it's still mean? Because we're not being the good girl. I'm so glad we're debunking the good girl script because,
this is so necessary. You're right, though. When we hear ourselves being firm, it sounds like we're being mean. But that was also a societal thing. That was also, if you're not agreeable, you're rude or wrong or something. There's that backside to this. If you weren't the good girl, you were then, in fact, the bad girl. This was a very black and white thing. There's that attachment to, well, if I'm not doing the quote good thing, then I then in turn must be bad. And we internalize that. That's why it feels so shitty to say no.
Yeah. And firm will feel mean if you're not comfortable with it.
Yes.
But that's your comfort. You can be firm and kind. That's what we're talking about. Really, midlife has a way of cracking the mask on this. Even if we've worn it for decades, midlife comes around, maybe kids leave home, career shifts, parents age, our bodies change, even our social roles start to feel different. Suddenly, the good girl script that carried us safely for so long starts to feel outdated, constraining, or even invisible. Psychologist Erik Erikson described this stage as generativity versus stagnation, a period where we ask, am I creating meaning, contributing, growing, or am I just repeating old patterns? It's a wake-up call, a subtle nudge from life asking us to examine what we've been living for and whether it truly aligns with who we are now. For many women, this stage is when they realize the script I've been following was never mine. I inherited it. I love that we go through this, and I think part of this is perimenopause.
Oh, 100%. If you're on social media, there's this whole movement. It's the I do not care club. Have you seen that?
Oh,
you
yes.
scroll through Instagram and it's a bunch of women in perimenopause and menopause saying, this is my application for the do not care club. And they pull out this paper. I do not care if you have nothing to do and I am doing something. It is not my job. I do not care. I'm like, yes, girl, go get it. Because I have been moving into this time in my life. Is it just me? No, it is in fact not just me.
No.
It's all of us.
By the way, I watched a video and instead of calling it perimenopause, they called it cougar puberty.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's a kid talking about how his mom is going through cougar puberty. I was like, that's what we're going through. Cougar puberty.
I'm all about it. I am all about it. Yes. Okay. Have you heard of the Gestalt empty chair exercise? The empty chair exercise comes from Gestalt therapy, a therapeutic approach that emphasizes awareness, choice, and taking responsibility for one's own life. The basic idea is simple and powerful. You place an empty chair in front of you and imagine that someone or a part of yourself is sitting there. Then you have a conversation with that person or part of yourself. Therapists often use this exercise to help people engage in a conversation with their younger selves. When women imagine talking to the 8, 12, or 16-year-old girl they once were, they often uncover painful or limiting messages. Don't make waves. Be quiet. Don't want too much. This exercise reveals the invisible wiring of the good girl script. By recognizing it as inherited rather than inherent, women can start to untangle themselves from rules that no longer serve them. It's a powerful realization. The life you've been living was partly scripted for you, and midlife is the chance to reclaim your authorship.
Not only am I familiar with the empty chair exercise, I've actually done this in a therapy session, and it is very powerful. My therapist called it parts work. You take the parts of you and you have conversations with them and why they exist. And thank you for being there. And now you can go because I don't need you anymore, kind of thing. Yeah, so powerful, this work. Okay, we're going to do another reflection pause. Close your eyes, only if it's safe to do so. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. Okay, picture your younger self. What messages about being good did she receive? How did she learn to shrink or hide parts of herself to gain approval? If you could whisper in her ear today, what truth would you give her instead? Pause the recording for 30 to 45 seconds and write down any thoughts, feelings, or insights that come up. This is your first step in rewriting the story. We're going to talk about rewriting your script today. Here are 3 actionable steps to start reclaiming your voice and stepping out of the old good girl mold. Speak to your younger self in writing. Take a journal and write a letter to your younger self, validating her experiences and reassuring her that she is allowed to take up space, make mistakes, and ask for what she wants. She has value. Identify one old script rule to challenge this week. So choose a small rule that you've been unconsciously following, like always agree, don't be too loud, or put others first. Consciously act against it in a safe context. Notice how it feels and reflect afterward. And here's the third one. Create a midlife affirmation. Here's an example. I'm allowed to honor my needs, speak my truth, and pursue my desires without guilt. Say it daily. Post it where you'll see it and let it slowly replace the old message. I recommend you take some bright, beautiful red or hot pink lipstick and write it on your mirror in your own beautiful writing. Not even printed, your own writing.
Yeah.
Remember, these steps aren't about perfection. They're about practice. Every time you speak your truth, even in a small way, you chip away at decades of conditioning and you create space for your authentic life.
You know, right in that pause, I was doing it right along, hopefully with everybody else. I get emotional. You know, this has been a long recovery for me. I feel myself welling up right now. It's not our fault, and it is our responsibility. We don't have to continue living feeling these feelings. Now that we have some way out, why wouldn't we use it? Why wouldn't we tackle it right on? I'm opening up my phone. I'm going to show you that this is no joke. Mine is on my phone right now. I'm going to read it to you guys because I have to remind myself. It says breathe in, breathe out. It's a good reminder. Check out our last episode. We talked about some breathing. I am aligned. I am clear. I am calm. I will tell you that that is not any of what I was growing up. It wasn't allowed. My choices honor me, my family, and my future. I don't need to justify or over-explain. I just need to speak my truth with kindness and confidence. I am grateful for the opportunities in my life, and I trust myself fully. I am not losing anything. I am making space for what is right. I have to look at it every day.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. It's not some bullshit is what I'm saying. We are in it right now. This is legit kind of work. And I'm so thankful that we hopefully are helping some folks through this right now. This would have been very nice information for my 8-year-old self. It really would have been. It's okay to be exactly who you are. Nope, that's not the message I got. Oh, whew, okay.
And we're working on that. Jen and I aren't here saying we've gotten rid of this. Oh no, we're right on the journey with you. This is a lifelong thing to work on. How many years did it take to embed this? Now we got to work on it for just as many years. Things get easier as we work on it. We start to realize our own authenticity and our own power. And some people might call you a bitch when you find your own authenticity and your own power. But you know what? I'd rather be a bitch than a good girl.
Add that to the I do not care list. I do not care that you think I am a bitch for honoring myself in this moment.
There you go.
I do not care. This is really good stuff. I'm thankful for today. So now that we've named the script, seen its cost, and recognized midlife as the turning point, it's time to take action. Rewriting the good girl script isn't about overnight transformation. None of what we talk about is. It is small, intentional steps that gradually shift your habits, your mindset, and your choices. We're going to give you 5 key steps. Each one is grounded in science and paired with practical exercises you can start today. You know, Nicole and I like the practical tools.
Give me the tools, baby.
Yes. Number 1, awareness. Spot the pattern. If you've been with us for a while, you recognize that we talk about patterning. The first step is simply to notice when you are following that old script. Pay attention to your automatic yeses, the urge to please, or the moments you shrink yourself. Neuroscience research shows that mindfulness practices literally rewire the brain's fear circuits, helping you interrupt automatic behaviors. That comes from Lazar et al., 2005. This is not new information. Here's an exercise for you. Over the next 24 hours, notice every time you say yes before thinking. You can journal about what triggered that response. Ask yourself, was this from fear of disapproval or was it a genuine choice? Start small. We don't want to go jumping over the Grand Canyon before taking that first step. Even noticing one automatic yes is a victory for you. Awareness creates the first opening for change.
Isn't it amazing how when it's something for somebody else, we have such a hard time saying no, but when it's something for us, we often have a very hard time saying yes?
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, self-care? No, I don't need that. I have to take care of everybody else.
No, I'll just push myself aside again. I'll be okay. I mean, you'll be okay for a minute.
Yeah.
We just talked about in our last episode, we talked about resilience for half of a second. And it might even feel good to say yes because of the response you get. What is the long-term result from that?
Yep. You got to take care of you.
Yeah. Number 2, redefine good. Good doesn't have to mean compliant. It can mean authentic. It can mean courageous. It can mean honoring your own needs. Y'all know I'm a word freak. You know that we need to be speaking of the same definition to communicate about it. You get to decide what that means to you. You don't have to take anybody else's definition of good. It's subjective. What does it mean to you? So here's a reflection prompt. When was the last time you felt proud of yourself for being honest instead of being agreeable? What would good look like if it included your full voice and desires? Here's my coaching tip. Create a new definition of good for yourself. Write it down. Post it somewhere visible. Here's an example. Good means living authentically, honoring my boundaries, and speaking my truth.
Another lipstick opportunity.
Yes.
You know what I would love to see is for all of us in society to practice when someone says no, to say, that's a good way to protect your boundaries. Good for you. Well done.
Yeah.
And give kudos when someone says no to you instead of the whole, don't do that. Honor people for respecting their boundaries. Let's make that a thing.
Let's make that a thing. High five. You said no. That's not going to get much done.
Hey, sometimes people got to say no. But if they say no, that's something I can't take on right now. Good for you. Good for respecting your boundaries.
Yeah.
Thank you for thinking about it.
People have said that to me before. I got real good at no, and initially felt really gross. Then as I became more confident, and I wasn't lying to myself, if I can do it and I have an interest in it, I'm going to see if I can really figure it out. Your 3-minute, 3-hour thing. I'm going to really sit there and see if I can make this work. Yes. If I cannot, I'm so confident in my no. I've had people say, man, I wish I could say no to things. Be like, you can. We can practice right now. Say it out loud. We can do this. Yeah, I have had that. It does feel good. It's like that extra high five, like, ooh, somebody noticed I was honoring myself. That's a very cool thing.
That's fantastic. I love that. Yes, let's make boundaries good to honor and respect. So number 3 is experimenting with boundaries. Boundaries are the practical tools for rewriting the script. Start with small ones, declining a task, speaking up in a meeting, or choosing your own plans. I mean, you can start with a big one, just might be a little more uncomfortable. So we say start small and see how it goes. Here's your science connection. Research from Dr. Brené Brown shows that people with strong boundaries are also the most compassionate because they know how to preserve their own energy and authenticity. Oh, we love her. All right. Here's your exercise. Identify one small boundary you can practice this week. Draft a simple script for it. Example, I can't take that on right now, but I appreciate you thinking of me. Perfect.
I like it.
Remember, boundaries aren't rejection. They're protection. Practice framing them neutrally and respectfully. I love that.
Nice.
All right, number 4, reclaim your voice. It's not just about saying no, it's about speaking your truth consistently. Use your voice to advocate for yourself, your ideas, and your needs. Studies show that assertive communication improves self-esteem and reduces stress. Ames and Flynn, 2007. When you speak up, your brain reinforces self-worth pathways and weakens the old shrink to survive pattern. Brain rewiring. Perfect. Here's your exercise. Try one small act of assertive communication today. Examples: share your opinion in a meeting, express a preference with a friend, or ask for what you need at home. And here's your coaching tip. Start small. Again, assertiveness is a muscle. Like any muscle, it strengthens with repeated safe practice. We're not going to go in the gym and start doing 20 pounds on our bicep. We're going to work ourselves up to there.
I know we're talking about women in midlife. I wanted to make a really quick connection to our children. My voice was silenced as a child. Now, generationally, it was children should be seen, not heard. I didn't get a lot of voice in my house. It was do as I say. There's really no feedback there. And that's something we are doing differently in our house. We actually celebrate the boys for speaking up for themselves. I want critical thinking men. I'm raising men. And I'm doing this with my boys. I'm going to highly encourage mothers and fathers to do this with your young girls, is not to shut them down when they are attempting to voice themselves. Here's a very specific example. There was an incident at school. Our 10-year-old got scared of a teacher, and we ended up meeting with that teacher. We talked in full circles with the 10-year-old about what maybe could have done differently. And yet essentially this teacher did not act appropriately. He was brave enough, because we encouraged this in our house, to be able to sit across from that teacher, an authority figure at the school, and say, that didn't feel good. I was scared in that moment. That shouldn't happen here. For a 10-year-old to be able to do that, I think is huge. And for an adult to hear that from a 10-year-old is huge. We call that repair. We've talked about that before. Feeling confident enough in your voice to be able to say, hey, you know, that thing wasn't right and it needs to be said. I don't care how old you are. That's doing the right thing. So I love that you're saying this, reclaim your voice. If we're raising a generation that doesn't have to go back in time to reclaim the thing that we could have taught them, that's why Nicole and I are here. It's the things we should have learned in school. We're well out of school. If you have children that are in school, start this with them now. I love you said that, the reclaim your voice. That is so important.
So powerful, and good on your 10-year-old. That is huge for a 10-year-old to be able to do that.
Yes.
I do want to also point out, because of the fact that Jen and I both raised boys. I had 2 boys. She has 2 boys. I still have 2 boys. They're just big. Mine aren't little anymore. She's still raising littles. Point being, as a female in the house, and often if you're raising boys, if you're the only female in the house, they're seeing the example of you and how you use your voice. As an example, they're going to look for in the future as the way to treat women and the kind of woman they're going to look for. Please understand that any woman who says, well, it's too late for me, I can work on my children. No, it's not.
No.
Because you are setting an example in your home, and I want you to set the best example for them that you can. And I would say that's almost more important. If your boys end up being heterosexual boys, they're going to marry a woman. Mm-hmm. They're going to want to know how to treat that woman, and they're going to get that example in how they treat you and how your partner treats you.
1,000%. Yes.
This is important, that we are the examples. Please also know you're an example of how to treat you no matter what kind of relationship you're in. You could be in a straight relationship or a gay relationship. I learned love from 2 men. I learned how to treat a partner from 2 men, not because it was a man and a woman, but how they treated each other. I learned a lot about how to treat the person I love, not based on the sex. We're talking about this good girl script, which tends to be given to the females when they were younger. Yeah, like Jen was saying, we need to be really clear that this isn't just for the females. And if you are a female in your family, you're the example, and you need to set that example for your girls and your boys. Because the boys are watching. Model. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have had many conversations with parents who have girls. We play sports. Right now it's co-ed. The girls and the boys are playing together. And things have come up. And I have found myself saying out loud to parents, whether they have boys or girls, I've said out loud, I'm raising men. And it's very important to me that these boys who are turning into men understand what love looks like, what this will be. And I've had mothers and fathers of little girls saying, thank you so much. My kid is going to be your kid's, this matters. And to your point, Nicole, absolutely. You too, as the only woman in the house, as I'm reclaiming my 8, 12, 16-year-old self, I am doing it right in front of all of the men in my house. And it is important that they know what respect looks like and what love looks like. This is so good.
It is. It's a very powerful message.
And number 5 is something that I regularly work on myself, and it's celebrating authenticity. Every time you honor yourself, please pause and acknowledge it. I give myself little high fives sometimes. This reinforces the behavior and it retrains your brain to reward authenticity. Here's an exercise for you. At the end of each day, write down one moment you acted from your authentic self. You can reflect. How did that feel? How did others respond? A coaching tip: celebrate micro victories, little high fives throughout the day. That's a micro victory. They build momentum and gradually replace the old good girl script with a new empowered identity. We're going to do another reflection pause here before moving on. Pause the recording and take a few minutes to reflect if you're able. Which step from above resonates the most with you right now? What is one small action you can take this week to honor yourself and challenge the old script? How will practicing this change your daily life, even in small ways? Write your answers or simply sit with them. These reflections are the seeds of your transformation.
Just to review, here's what they were. Number 1 was awareness, spotting the pattern. Number 2 was redefining good. Number 3 was experimenting with boundaries. Number 4 was reclaiming your voice. And number 5 was celebrating authenticity. So good. Stories help us see that change is possible. They remind us that we're not alone in navigating this good girl script, and also the cost of people pleasing. So here's story number 1, the Thanksgiving breakthrough. One woman, let's call her Maria, had hosted Thanksgiving every year for decades, even though it drained her physically and emotionally. She always said yes because she felt obligated to keep the peace and maintain the image of the perfect hostess. One year, she made a bold decision. She politely declined to host. At first, she worried everything would fall apart, but instead, her family stepped up, everyone's still connected, and Maria realized she could set boundaries without damaging relationships. Pretty sure we can all relate to that one.
Yep.
All right, story number 2, the career courage moment. Another woman, we'll call her Karen, has spent years saying yes at work, taking on extra projects, staying late, never asking for recognition. She feared speaking up would make her seem, quote unquote, too much. After practicing the framework of pausing, setting boundaries, and reclaiming her voice, she finally asked for a raise. Not only did she get it, but her boss also expressed respect for her assertiveness. She realized that speaking her truth didn't push people away. It drew respect and recognition.
Go, girl.
Story number 3, the everyday micro victories. Small daily acts matter. Julia started saying no to social obligations that didn't energize her. At first, she felt uncomfortable, almost guilty. But over time, she noticed more space for creativity, self-care, and genuine connection with loved ones. Every micro victory chipped away at decades of conditioning and reinforced her sense of autonomy. These stories illustrate a core truth. Stepping out of the script doesn't have to be dramatic. It's the small, consistent choices that rebuild your sense of self and reshape your life.
That's right.
So relatable.
You know, we run into this so much. We sit in front of so many, particularly women, in coaching sessions. Well, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. And you know me, I'm pretty direct. And here's my famous line: get over yourself. Are you really the only one on this whole earth that can do this one thing? You don't think that they could find somebody else to do the thing? What do you get out of this? What's behind this? Is it the good girl script? Is it something else? It's the awareness. What are we paying attention to? Hopefully this really kickstarts some movement. Whatever, I said it 4 or 5 times. I love this episode.
Well, it's such a great topic and it's so valid. I really hope 50 years from now, somebody listens to this and says, well, we don't need that anymore.
Me too.
That's my goal.
Me too.
Seriously, 2075. I hope someone's listening to this episode and goes, wow, that's not relevant for today. Yes. Thank goodness.
We had turn dial phones, and kids these days are like, what? We should get that look. Like, why did you guys think that way? That's so weird.
Why would girls think they had to be good? No way, man.
That's strange. In closing, if you've been living under the good girl script, here's what we want you to hear. You are not broken. Every compromise, every yes you gave when you wanted to say no, every time you shrink yourself, those were acts of survival. You adapted. You learned to navigate a world that rewarded your compliance, your quiet, and perfection. That was necessary then. Midlife is different. Midlife is your turning point. It's the moment when the mask starts to crack, when the voice that's been quiet for too long begins to speak up. It's the time to stop shrinking, to stop apologizing, and start rewriting your story with intention and courage. It's your time to join the I do not care club. We're going to give you a final journaling prompt. Take a moment. You can close your eyes. Again, not if you're driving, or grab your journal. Ask yourself this. If I were no longer trying to be good in the old sense, what would I be free to become? What parts of myself have I hidden that are ready to step forward now? What small action today could honor my voice and my truth? Write freely. Do not censor. This is your permission slip to claim the life and self-expression that have been waiting for you. It's exciting. It is so exciting.
I also want to say, if there's anybody listening and you are not in midlife yet, you're just ahead of the game.
Start now. Start now.
Maybe there's some 20-something or even some 17-year-old who's like, can I do this? Do I have to wait till I'm in midlife? No, you do not. You can do it now.
That would also create some empathy surrounding the folks who raised you. Maybe that's what had my mom so burned out, stressed out, and I didn't understand why she was going through menopause and she was trying to rewrite the good girl script. Sorry, Mom.
It's a lot of work. Yes.
Wow. Let's go into takeaways. Oh my gosh, all of it?
Yeah.
Naming the script is an important reminder. I think that once you are able to identify, this is in fact a script that I've been running in the background in my subconscious. I did not create it. It is an agreement because I'm using it. It is no longer serving me, and I will switch it up into a thing that is serving me. That is the basis for this shift right here, and so necessary to name in your own life.
I agree with you. I think that's excellent. I want to point out, just like Jen was talking about agreements, in my coaching, I'm very much about your value system. And as we get older, our value system changes. What do we value most in life? Most women wouldn't dare to take the time to ask themselves what they value. What do you value? What is most important to you? Brene Brown puts out a list of, I think it's 50 things. Just look up Brene Brown's values and you come up with your own too. The point is, what do you value? Because when you're asked to do something, does it feed your value system? Yeah. Most people, if I say, what's your value system? They look at me like I'm an alien. They're like, what? What's my what?
Yeah.
If you don't know what your value system is, figure it out. And by the way, it's not the same as when you were younger.
I hope it's not, Nicole. I hope it's not.
We evolve. Humans evolve. Things change. Values change. And we're not talking ethics. We're talking what you value and what are the most important pieces to you as a human and how you show up. It's different for everyone. It's what makes things beautiful in this world is that we all show up with our strengths and our values. Figure that out for yourself, because to me, if you want to be a good girl, you're living into the values that are yours and yours alone. Not the ones you were taught, not the ones that you were told were yours, but the ones you really believe in. I love to find people like that.
I love that.
This is really important. That's why I would probably say that for me, the most valuable part of today was reframing what good means.
Yeah.
Reframing what I'm going to define as. You know what? I'm good if I'm protecting my boundaries.
Yeah.
And honoring people who do that. Yeah, this is brilliant.
And to your point about your value system, knowing very clearly what that looks like makes these yeses and nos that much easier. When you are so confident and so clear, clarity is power, as you have heard Coach Nicole and Jen say all the time. When you are so clear on what that looks like, anything that does not fit in the frame of that value system is an easy no. Look at me swatting no's all over the place. Easy. And now some things might teeter. You go, oh, that's when I take my 3 minutes, 3 hours and see if that might fit in. That is intentional.
Yes.
That is creating a life that you deserve. Let's just go there with it. Please. Yes. That is great advice, Nicole. Yes, reframe good. You create the narrative. You decide what good looks like. And if somebody uses the term good and it doesn't line up with your definition, then we're not having the same conversation. And that's okay too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Whew. Good stuff today, Nicole.
Good. Yay. Let's go into questions.
Questions? You want to answer?
I'll answer.
Here's a fun one.
Okay.
What is the best bumper sticker you've ever seen?
Oh my God. Oh, I can't believe you just actually asked me that. Okay, so my husband listens to the episodes. He's going to laugh right now because I just put the best bumper sticker I have ever seen in my life on my car because I saw it when we were in New York on vacation. And I took a picture of it. The woman was getting out of her van and I was like, oh my God, I need that bumper sticker. And she's like, isn't it the best? It says powered by bitch dust on the car. And mine has a Tinkerbell on it. And it is now on my car. I just put it on last week. I have no other bumper stickers on my car. Oh my God, I can't believe you asked me that question today. That is the funniest thing.
I am cry laughing. Powered by bitch dust.
That's what my car now says. And my son came in and he goes, I'm never driving your car again. And I was like, bonus.
That is so on point with today's episode too. I love it. We did not plan this. I love it.
That is awesome.
That is so funny.
That today. Yeah, it's my favorite bumper sticker, and everyone's going to recognize me now.
Yes.
So if you see a teal convertible Mini with powered by bitch dust and a Tinkerbell driving around Arizona, that's me.
That's this girl. Do you sprinkle it everywhere you go?
Yes. And Tinkerbell, let's be honest.
It's a little sassy.
It's
a little sassy fairy.
Sassy bitch.
I love
her. That's funny. Okay. Great question.
Yay.
So timely, I cannot even tell you. All right. Jen, what's your biggest guilty pleasure?
Ooh, reality TV.
Oh, okay. Specifics.
I love 90 Day Fiancé.
Oh.
I also love Married at First Sight.
I've seen that.
Yes.
I've watched a couple seasons of that. That's fun.
Now, they are different. In 90 Day Fiancé is a scripted reality. It's very dramaful. It's usually background noise. Married at First Sight, I find extremely insightful. So Married at First Sight, I will actually sit and watch. If you don't know, it is two people who have signed up to get married. This is a legal, lawful wedding. And they are extensively interviewed by experts, a sociologist, a relationship specialist, a pastor, various forms of experts.
I'm a massive Dr. Pepper fan. Massive. She is amazing.
Dr. Pepper's a person, by the way, on this show.
Not the drink. She's amazing. She is my fave. And she's been on many seasons. I know they changed some. And I'm not even religious, but I like the pastor guy too.
Yes. It's very common sense.
It really is. It's cool. You learn a lot about people.
That's it. And so the experiment goes for 2 months. Now they have the experts, they have access to them. They are put through not experiments, like in fact, real things that you would go through in any relationship. It's just condensed down into a 2-month time frame. It's an arranged marriage. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And at the end of this 60 days, you decide if you want to stay together or if you want to get an actual divorce. I like it because the experts are so great bringing together. These are the tools. This is what this looks like. Your personality is very much this. This is why we matched you with this person. And I kid you not, I take notes and I'm like, oh, I could apply this. And I have this question for my relationship. We've been together for 6 years and they're doing this 2-month thing. And
Yeah.
we're going to take a look at that. So anyway, reality TV is my guilty pleasure all day long. Yeah.
I love that show. They throw in those exercises that kind of get them to know each other better. And often they're not physically the attraction they would have chosen, but often they grow into a physical attraction because they go through these exercises. I think that show's fantastic.
Yes.
I don't even know how many seasons there's been now.
Oh gosh, I think it's like over 18 at this point.
Gosh,
I can't tell you I've watched all 18. When I know that a season is coming on, I got the DVR going.
There you go.
I watch it by myself because that is my guilty pleasure.
There you go. I love that.
There you go.
Reality TV. Oh my gosh. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today on Lessons of the Journey. If this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to share it with a friend or loved one who might be ready to challenge the scripts that have shaped their lives. And here's a little challenge for you. Revisit the reflection pauses. Journal about them. Speak your truths aloud and notice what shifts in your daily life when you choose authenticity over approval. Every small choice chips away at the old patterns and opens the door to a freer, bolder, more joyful you. Until next time, remember this: your story isn't finished. You hold the pen. Every day is a new opportunity to write it with courage, truth, and the full expression of who you are. Thanks for joining us. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Write your lines with passion, let your spirit freely roam. The lessons of your journey will lead you